out. But some of this is gonna make it into the show because I'm never quite sure what YouTube says. Go. We might be live. I have no idea. We might be live.
Might be live.
All I know is
that sounds like a great title for your one day, your autobiography. We might be live. The Brian Powell story.
I like it. And all I know, Wes, is that you and I just played VR games together, and I got Quest Head, which is not nearly the thing you think it might be, although that is also pretty cool. The thing I actually got is a big fucking red ring around my forehead. I went to the bathroom to make sure I looked presentable for the show, and there was just like this big outline of a scuba mask, like right around my eyes. Quest Head.
Somebody send this man a Bobo strap already.
It's not like it's going to convince me to play it more. So don't bother. I
think you already play almost as much as I do. Like, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Although I am picking it up more often these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's more reason to. Although I've been picking up my PSVR2 a lot more often too, because there's more reason to pick that up as well. Man, can't stop playing Phasmo. Cannot stop playing Phasmo.
I have not been back since our shit show that we did a few weeks ago.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, you know what, Wes? I didn't even send you over on a show, but I think you and I both like to do this a little more freeform anyway. So what do you think, man? Ready to start the show?
Yeah. I don't ever read that thing anyway. I just need to know whose turn it is to pick the game, and I think it's
yours. Don't worry. It's my turn. Yeah, we're good to go. All right. Let's do it. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Wise Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. But our good friend Rob Pop cares so very much about your oral pleasure. That's why he uploads this thing on podcast services of your choice. I don't know what your choice is, but whatever it might be, we're probably there. My name is Brian Pop, and this channel right here without Parole, and this gentleman over here to my left. You are right. It's Wes Dillon from our non-gendered specific channel. Virtual strangers. Go subscribe to them. Click the link in the description below. What's up, Wes?
What's up, Brian? You know what's up. What's up is what's always up. I guess it is a little bit different though, because I do still kind of feel like I'm trying to keep control of myself so I don't run into a wall. But besides that, same old. Taking a break to talk VR and say hello to the Game Cats. So happy to be here as usual.
Oh yeah, man. I'm very happy to be here too. I've got all sorts of craziness going on in my apartment. As the one addition you can see, this brick wall has been erected behind me. However,
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful
thank
wall.
you. I appreciate that, man. The problem, of course, is that remember when I had all that mold in the kitchen and had to like have it torn out and removed? And dude, I swear, home ownership is a fucking it's a scam. I feel swindled daily. I woke up this morning to just like the sound of hissing in my walls, and I was like, what's that? Like, that's literally why I woke up, was because I heard hissing in the wall, and I got closer to it, and it was hissing, and also like a little dunk, dunk, dunk. So I was like, oh, good. There's a pipe in my new kitchen wall from last year that is spraying and dripping. So it's been a fun day.
It's gonna we have to start all over again. Who knows what you're gonna unearth this time? I remember the moldy literature that got uncovered last time you had a problem in your kitchen.
Yeah, I hope this time it's an old computer magazine, because old porn is less interesting to me. I get real nostalgic and retro about video games, but like, chicks from the 80s, Wes, not so much.
It's all that's going to be left of our generation after the world blows up, and the future people 1,000 years from now are excavating and uncovering. All they're going to find is the porn, and they're going to know immediately why we failed as a civilization.
There's also this thought, man. There's also this thought when you pull out a porno magazine from the 80s, you look at the girls and they're like, 25, 26 years old. And then you're like, that girl's like somebody's grandmother now. Like and like
Yeah.
not a young grandmother, not like I had a kid at 16 and so did my mom. No, this is a 75-year-old woman now, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, it feels so inappropriate.
Right. Telling their grandchildren stories about how she used to chase Rod Stewart on the road or something.
So if we unearth any more magazines, I hope they're computer magazines. That is the moral of the story. Wes, what's going up? What's going on over at Virtual Strangers these days, man? I feel like I haven't tuned in for a show recently, because I haven't been awake at 4 a.m. when you start.
Well, you haven't been missing much because we've only been able to really get on the air once a week. Like we're trying to do 2 shows. We're really trying to get that Game of the Month episode in for October. But dude, there's like 20 some odd games on the list, and like good games too, not games that you can just give 30 minutes and blow off. Like I spent 2 hours last night playing Undead Citadel for Quest, and there are 9 other Quest titles that came out last month, and then there are probably just as many that I like omitted from the list. It is just nuts. And besides that, it's a very busy month for VR in general, which means it's a very busy month at work. So we've been struggling, man, to just to get episodes in. Although we did a nice episode on Saturday, and we'll probably be doing another one. I mean, if not by Friday, then definitely on Saturday. And Roots is back, so it's been pretty fun. He seems to have his mojo back about him again and enjoying playing the games again. So it's been a good time whenever we've been able to kind of collaborate. It's just, the schedule is so overwhelming right now. We're finding it difficult to keep a twice a week cadence.
Nice.
But we're trying.
Well, it's good to hear that Roots is back, man, because been obviously it's been a staple of your show since the beginning. There's no way I was watching since day one. So like, has he been around since the very beginning?
Yeah, yeah. Roots and I are OG members. We had 2 others that were with us at the start. A guy called Justin, aka Main Fan, which has his own channel. He's a arcade enthusiast, so he does a lot of like emulator videos and such, or at least he used to. I haven't watched his channel in a while. And then this other guy, Alex from the UK, who has his own channel too, called Virtual Insider. Although I don't think he uploads very much anymore. He's someone that actually works with us at Impact in at like a very different role from mine. But it was kind of cool. We came full circle. Like we started the podcast together all those years ago, and then he kind of fell off, and really didn't talk to him all that much, maybe once or twice a year for a long time. And then he independently got hired in at Impact, and now here we are at like the same spot again. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Man, we should probably get this show on the road a little bit here, because we have actually quite a lot of.
It's VR. It's free VR real estate. Said I had to bribe Roots back with their free Quest 3. Not exactly. We did get Roots. We got Roots a new headset when he came back. No, okay. No, not at all.
No, you didn't bribe him, but you did get him one.
Oh, we did get him one, yeah. But it was only after we had that conversation. Like, are you back? Are you back for a while, or are you for real back?
Right.
And the minute he said, I'm back, 100% back in, I said, all right, then let's get you a headset. Like it would immediately, he's like, if you're going to be here, you got to be able to play the games. So let's send you a headset, which we did. And he's digging it.
Was it a 3S?
No, we got him a full 3.
Wow. But you like Roots more than I thought you did. That's pretty great. I don't like anyone enough to get him a regular 3.
Like, the 3S is great for the price. Mm-hmm. But it is still a Quest 2 Plus. Like wearing it's going to hurt your face, and it's lower res. Like the extra $100 to get the good one is worth the extra $100 to get the good one. So
I agree.
That's what we did.
Yeah. Real quick here, we had who was it in the chat? We had Game Cat Photo Nutter say, anyone try PSVR on the 5 Pro? Is it any better? If he's talking about PSVR 1, I've not tried that, but if I've talking about PSVR 2, most GamesCasts in the last week have been about that. Definitely talked about it on Friday, and then again with AJ on Monday. So go back and check out the time-stamped areas where we talked about the Pro stuff. There's quite a bit of games with improvements, and strangely enough, it's the ones that were not advertised to have improvements were the ones that I found the most improvements in. But I've got a video scripted on it. There's been a lot of fucking weirdness happening in my personal life, and so 2 of the videos I wanted to make for this week did not happen yet. They will both happen soon enough. That is one of them. So stay tuned if you don't want to go back and watch GamesCast. I totally understand. If I wasn't on the show, I wouldn't fucking want to watch it either. The Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $5 tip says, people say PSVR2 sucks because of the wire. My kitten begs to differ. In fact, it's her favorite part of the headset. Makes me wonder, does Marky Z hate cats? Mark Zuckerberg. Took me a second. I was like, who the fuck is Marky Z? Obviously he hates cats. Done. Right? If you're not gonna dangle something in front of your cat the whole time you're playing VR, then you probably hate your cat too. That's all I got. All right, guys. If you want your questions on the show, you don't have to tip like Andrew Ehrenreich did, though we do appreciate it. You can go over to our Discord, click the link in the description below, and go over to the Viewer Takeover channel. Leave your message there, just like Necrophagic did. Necrophagiac. I don't know how to pronounce that. He says, hashtag Viewer Takeover. Hey, guys. I've been interested in getting a PSVR 2 since launch and hoping for a Black Friday sale. However, do you think it's worth waiting for a possible refreshed model like they did with the PSVR 1? Been following since you first started without Parole. Wait a minute. Really? I just admitted to Wes that there was no way in hell I was watching him since day one. There was no way in hell you were watching without Parole during the Brian Paul Mike Zeller days, where was 2 people sitting around the pub table talking about retro games. And if I'm wrong, amazing. That's all I got to say about that. But lurking in the shadows, thank you for all you do. Much love right back to you, Necrophagic. Wes, if you were Necrophagic, would you be buying a PSVR 2 on a Black Friday sale, or would you roll the dice and say, it's probably about time for a refresh, a new model of PSVR 2, and wait for that?
You should definitely jump in the next time they catch it on sale. The refresh that the Gen 1 version got was minimally different. Like the changes were I think they changed the way that the headphones plugged in, and I think the lenses were a little bit different.
My recollection is that the breakout box allowed for HDR pass through. Is that correct? Oh my god, my brain is so
they had
broken.
a new breakout box. That's right.
And then the wire that hung off the headset was a much thinner wire and didn't have the little box that was on that, and so like it wasn't as cumbersome. Other than that, I don't remember much being a big deal.
So I don't think that they would do a mid-gen refresh on this. If they did, I wouldn't expect anyone to really notice, except for the most hardened enthusiast. And I mean, what's worth more, like a minimal upgrade you might not even notice, or all that time that you're going to lose between now and when that happens, that you could be playing awesome VR games. Like
Right.
That's worth something. Even like I would even suggest, if like you knew it wasn't going to go on sale for sure for like another year, that you just buy it now, because that time between now and then is worth the difference in price. But I do believe it will go on sale, likely for Black Friday or around that time frame, and I think you should jump on it when it happens.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything, to be honest with you, Wes, like that I want changed about the headset. I mean, I would love to have an option to have one that had pancake lenses, but that's just going to drive the price up, not down, right? The point of these refreshes is to drop the price, make it cheaper for Sony to manufacture, not make it more expensive, but then keep the price the same, or make it more expensive, then drop the price.
Yeah, they'll
So
never do that. The reason why that it doesn't have pancake lenses most likely now isn't just cost. The pancake lenses are a lot less efficient with regard to the light that passes through them. You need a much brighter source to pass through them, which we have. But if this headset had pancake lenses, they wouldn't be able to call it HDR. It wouldn't technically be HDR anymore, and I don't think they're going to be looking to drop that off of their feature list anytime soon. So
right. And with any luck, this if there is a Black Friday sale, if there is any kind of even official discount from Sony themselves, like on the direct.playstation.com, if it's anywhere close to the last sale that we had where it was $200 off, right, $350 and sales fucking skyrocketed. I mean, you got to jump on that. You got to jump on that while that's available. I'm kicking myself for not buying a second headset during that time because I could really use it right now. So, if there's a Black Friday sale, I'll be buying another PSVR2 headset in order to make work easier here. But
I'd like
very
a new
good.
one.
Yeah.
My lenses are starting to show some wear. You know, it's not anything you notice when you're wearing it, but when I'm cleaning it, I see little tiny micro scratches on it, just like my old PSVR. And the OCD in me just hates it. Like it drives me nuts.
Do you not have like prescription lenses or even just
No, I
clear
need to get
lenses?
some though for
Yeah.
this reason, so I don't continue to damage my lenses by cleaning them on the daily.
For sure. Yeah, I absolutely think everybody should be getting them. This makes everything so easy to clean. And if you do have even the slightest prescription, it makes everything look better. I constantly go to bat for realoptics.com, reloptix.com. I think of the three that I tried, they are by far the best. And you pay like $20 more for them, but they're great. I don't know if you saw this over on, I believe it was Reddit. We got the Encircled developers. You remember them? They made this is a real-time strategy or tower defense game on PSVR2 that is one of the handful of games that I've never played. They were out there on Reddit saying that they've already made 90% of Quest's lifetime revenue in the amount of time they've been out on PSVR2, which is only a month or two. So this is yet another success story. I know the Cube developers were out there saying that. Max Mustard, they were saying the same thing. This is starting to become more and more of a common story, and just kind of wanted to give it a shout, even though it's not a game that I've played or possibly am all that curious about. It's just really good to see. Even a game like this, they had like zero promotion, zero publicity, wasn't being pushed in any way, shape, or form. I think most people probably don't know what Encircled is. Yet here we are. It's selling way better. And the developer said that they expect it to pass Quest lifetime sales in the next few weeks. So sales are continuing to go well.
You know, I didn't even know that game was on Quest. Like I thought it was just a PSVR game. So
I'm going to bring up the trailer because I've sort of forgot what it even looks like, to be honest with you. I hate saying
it's
that.
a wave shooter. It's a wave shooter that they kind of structured like a tower defense game, but it's just a wave shooter.
That's all it is, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
I remember this game.
So you played it then? Or did you just watch the...
No, I didn't play it. I remember covering it, like talking about the trailer.
Gotcha.
Ezek says it is pretty fun, so I guess Ezek must be one of the people that bought it and tried it out.
Nice.
You'd be surprised at some of these games. Yeah, some of these games, while they don't look so exciting in the trailer, you actually get in and start playing them, and they're pretty fun. We did a game recently that was like that. It was one of these tower defense wave shooter games where it was called Tiny Archers. That's what it was. And it just looked so generic and boring from the store page and the trailer. But I got in there and I didn't want to put that thing down, man. I had so much fun playing it.
Old Darth in the chat says, interesting factoids, Brian, especially since there are more Quest headsets out in the wild than PSVR 2. Here's what I think is happening, Wes, and I've said the first half of this many times before, so bear with me. I think that the Quest 2 sold like crazy because they got the price really far down. and we were all stuck inside during the pandemic, right? Little Jimmy and Daddy Jimmy, everybody was curious. Jimmys all over the world were curious about the Quest 2, and because it was so cheap, everybody was finding it, boxed up and wrapped up with wrapping paper under the Christmas tree or for their birthday or whatever it was, because there was no risk. They're like, hey, here's a 200. Was it two? Did they get it down to $200? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the twos did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was insanely cheap. And then with everyone stuck inside during COVID, it was just like a guaranteed win. And then not everybody stuck with it, right? I've gone on record many times saying I don't think standalone VR was great or even what I would call acceptable until the Quest 3. And now I'm like, this is in a really good place. I think standalone VR is in a really good place now. I don't think the Quest 2 was gonna really impress that many people. Like if you played Beat Saber or Pistol Whip, sure, but then you try to play Saints and Sinners, no, right? And so I don't think it was meeting as many people's expectations. And so I think a lot of those 10 million, 15 million, whatever they're claiming headsets got pushed under the bed and never got played again. That's why sales on a lot of games are pretty low. And so I think the hardcore Quest fan base are the ones who bought a Quest 3, right? So I do think that we're kind of neck and neck right now. PSVR2 and Quest 3 sales are probably pretty similar. So I think that's what's happening.
There's a few things at play here. Another thing is it is very hard to be noticed on the Quest store. There are so many more games on there because they integrated App Lab into the main store over the course of last year. And there's literally just an endless sea of shovelware on there now. And you really have to hit a certain baseline of sales before anyone even notices you on that store. Whereas on the PlayStation store, PSVR enthusiasts are acutely aware of every title that's on there, every title that goes up for wish listing. We watch the space and are aware of all the games. Not the case on the Quest store. Things just get completely lost on there, and it's hard to be discovered on there unless you spend some real time and market or money on marketing. So there's that. I had another point too, but it gone into the ether.
Whenever
Sure
it pops back in, just let us know, and we'll
sure.
And we'll divert the the conversation back to you. Nick the Game Cat Freak with the level 1 membership. Wow. Actually, Nick the Game Cat Freak. I want to know what your freak is. Maybe that's too much information. I don't need to know. It says, have to go. Take care. I'll watch later. Bye, cats. Leave a comment below telling us what your freak is, Nick. All right, man. Well, all I got to say is that I'm thrilled that PSVR2 is, again, with the lower sales numbers, selling, more people are buying games on that. And you remember?
I remember what it was. I remember what it was now.
Go, perfect timing.
A lot of those millions and millions of people that got those headsets during the pandemic are children who don't buy games. They play free games. They play Gorilla Tag. They play Rec Room. They play Penguin Paradise. And there's a lot of that stuff on the Quest platform for them. But none of them are spending any money on games. So, yeah, there's that too.
I 100% agree with you. I've been saying that for a while, and I think that's a very important factor to bring into this conversation. However, I played Gorilla Tag on PSVR2 last week and had a blast with it, so I sort of get what's going on over there. It is just a gigantic playground for you and your friends to hang out in, and I had fun, man. I had fun. I can definitely see myself going back to that and playing more.
Yeah. Surprising.
Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat with the Australian $5 says, for Steve IRE, who asked, do the prescription lenses change the FOV? I mean, like, they don't increase it, so if you're wondering if it decreases it, I guess it's possible because your eyes aren't quite... No, there's no change in the FOV. Not to my knowledge. Nothing seems different. Yeah.
Right. It would be minimal. You could lose a degree or two because your eyes are not as close to the lenses, but I doubt it would be noticeable at all. But I don't have it, so I don't know.
I push the headset in as close as it can possibly go every single time my eyelashes brush up against whatever's in front of me, whether that be the lenses or whether that be the prescription lenses. It goes in all the way. So I don't think it would change anything. But again, like Wes said, it's possible that it does change it a degree or two. So that's, I don't want to sit up here and pretend
You know
like
who loves it when it goes in
all the way. Yeah. While I was saying it, as the words were coming out of my mouth, you know who else likes it when the words are coming out of you? You know what? What else we got to talk about here? Have you seen the Starship Troopers launch trailer for PSVR 2? Whether you have or not, I'm gonna play it up here on the screen.
I have not, actually.
I don't think it's blowingly better. I give up, man. I give up. Starship Troopers. Is this even gonna work? Yeah, here it is. Here's the Starship Troopers launch trailer. Sirens on my end. It doesn't look dramatically better, but seeing more gameplay is giving me more reasons to feel confident it could be fun. And that does sound like what's happening over on the Quest side of things, where the game's already been out for a little while. Wes, have you had a chance to play this game or at least pay attention to what people are saying about it?
I've heard that, and when I say I heard, I've read a couple of headlines from videos that I didn't watch that people were saying that it's actually not bad. I think I have watched a little bit of footage of it. It didn't look any different than what I expected. I think this could be a case of what I said before about these games that, that are doing something that's been done a million times before, but it's polished enough that it's fun. Like it was fun in 2016 and it's still fun today. So I think that this could be a case of, where we have a pretty basic arcade shooter, but it's done from a studio that has done good games before. It's polished, it has some money behind it, and it could just be that it's fun to play. It looks like there could be a little bit of progression behind it, that give you a reason to grind on a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's good to hear, right? That people aren't crapping all over it, but then I'm still a little bit skeptical, because these people could be doing sponsored videos or God knows what. So I'll believe it when I play it myself, but no, I haven't yet.
Yeah, definitely the smart way to go about things these days. I'm losing faith in most videos I see. I just have no faith that. I don't know. I don't know how sponsored videos work anymore, man. It used to be like loud and clear announced like right there, this description at the front of the video, and I don't see those anymore in videos that I feel like are sponsored. Right. So I have tons of respect for people who are doing sponsored videos and being very clear about it, but the kind of like backroom deals and a little hush hush, yeah, this is sponsored, but we're not really going to tell people, does not jive well with me at all, especially since I refuse to do them at all, right? I'm taking this fucking weird moral high ground, and then like, and then other people kind of get to say, well, I don't do sponsored videos because they're just not telling people that they're sponsored. And I was like, well, you're fucking, wait a minute. I don't know. I just feel like I'm getting screwed here. I should just start taking the money.
Yeah, we should just take the money, Brian. Nobody cares.
Apparently nobody cares. But before it sounds like we're throwing shade at other content creators, which is never the intention. I don't know what anybody else out there is doing because I don't have time to care unless it's Wes's channel. We should probably move on. And this is a good one, man. This is good press for PSVR2, and it comes to us directly from the PlayStation blog. If you see that, they listed the November games for the PlayStation Plus catalog. And if you scroll far enough down, you see a big image of possibly, if I keep scrolling, how fucking far down is it? Is it even on the list? There it is. It's at the very bottom. PlayStation Plus Premium gets Synapse in November. This is, I think, kind of a big deal. It may not, this might not be a big name for people who are unfamiliar with VR. However, anyone who's been paying attention knows that Jennifer Hale and David Hayter are the voices in this game, and it's really a ridiculously fun, polished shooter from Endreams. Do you think this is going to make any waves at all?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many people really have premium subscriptions to Plus? I don't know. I think if there is a subset of people who have premium, who also have a PSVR headset, but maybe aren't primarily VR gamers, they might put their headset on just to check this game out. And this game is one of the reasons to own a PSVR headset. It is fucking amazing. This will impress anyone who tries it and make a believer out of them. So I think it could turn around a few that are in that, again, very specific situation. I don't think it's going to cause people with premium to buy a headset or cause people with a headset to buy premium. But I think for those people that already have both, this is a pretty big W.
I'm creating a poll right now, and yes, I have premium. I forget what the first two tiers of PlayStation Plus are called.
There's essential and extra, if I remember correctly.
Okay, I'll add those in just to help people out. I spelled it wrong. Okay, so I've got. Do you have PlayStation Plus? No. Yes. Essential. Yes. What's the second one?
Extra.
And then premium.
I think. All
right. Well, we'll go with that. It'll be fine. So we're gonna find out real quick how many people are in our community have Plus. I gotta say, man. In 1 month alone, I bought 3 flat screen games, and all of them were on extra, I believe. But I still refuse to upgrade from the basic tier because I hate subscription services. So I'm also curious to know how many people are in the same boat as me, being like, still buying these games that they could get for free, just by upping their subscription.
We're in a bit of a different boat as content creators who get most of the games we want to play sent to us.
It's true.
So I do try to sometimes think about and put myself in the consumer's shoes, and when I think about these subscription services, and I typically am a proponent for them. I think that the one Quest does is a great value. I think Viveport's a great value. Even like Xbox Game Pass, there's enough stuff on there to mod that makes that a great value. With the PlayStation one, I don't play enough flat games. It's good that they're starting to include VR games with it. I do still have a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth about how they kind of rolled all of it out when they switched to the tiers, and if I remember correctly, they were taking people who had like paid or prepaid a certain amount of time ahead and changing their accounts in some way where they're not exactly going to get what they're paid for, or something to that effect. They were a little bit shady about how they went about it, and I didn't appreciate that. But I don't know what and all is offered on premium right now for VR gamers, but I know that they have been starting to add things on their monthly, and I think that that's just a good sign in general for the platform.
Yeah. Listen, I'm really happy for everyone who has it. I think it's for people who don't want to buy physical games, for people who don't mind the subscription model, I think it's probably very, very worth it, right? You just get all of these games and you pretty much don't have to buy very much, unless it's a brand new $70 game. But I see Macho in the chat. Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cat says, same Brian. I tried the top tier once and didn't get enough use out of the games. I downloaded a few. I didn't have fun, so I didn't renew this year. I downgraded to the bare minimum. I got premium for, I believe, the first year. Maybe it was just the first few months. I can't remember how it all worked. I think it was first year, and I found myself not playing the retro games, which is a big thing for me. The retro games are something that I desperately want as part of any subscription library, and I wasn't playing those. and it didn't seem like I was getting enough new games included in that. So I ditched. But again, I do find myself here and there in situations like I was a few months ago. I bought Dave the Diver, I bought Crow Country and Animal Well, all amazing games, and I think they were all free as part of like the essentials, not essentials, extra. And I was like, damn, maybe I should just upgrade it. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Good stuff though. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the poll, because I think a lot of people have voted already.
Always loves to take a look at the poll, Brian.
With 119 votes, we've got 16%. They say they don't have PlayStation Plus, which is kind of crazy, right? Because you need that just to play online multiplayer. So that's the insane group. 36%, the overwhelming majority. 37%, it keeps going back and forth, say they just have the basic tier. 14% say they have extra, and then 33%, that's a pretty decent amount of people, say they have premium. Yeah. So hopefully most of you guys in premium didn't already buy Synapse.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that kind of surprised me. I expected there would be more people that said no, because there's a certain percentage of the players out there that don't play exclusively on PlayStation, and those players, they refuse to pay to play multiplayer. They'll just play on another platform. And I mean, there was a lot more people. Like, I expected over half of the PS Plus subscribers to be on the Essential, but that was not true. Like, half or more of the people that answered the poll had either extra or premium, which again, surprising to me.
We've got Elderly Morningstar with the 10 euros saying, because you make me fall in love again time after time with the PSVR2. Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cat with the $5 tip says, side note, I'd really like top-down tactic or medieval strategy games like Manor Lords. Wes should know about this game. Or AOE in VR. What's AOE?
Yeah, I don't know.
You stumped us.
Thing you said was either.
Yeah, Manor Lords. We don't know what Manor Lords is. We don't. Top-down tactic. He put it all together and capitalized top-down and tactic. Is that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. RTS games maybe he's talking about. I played one of those recently on PC. It's from the people that did Propagation. Wanted to have they did they're doing a game called Vestiges, and it's like a card based strategy game where you have to place people on the battlefield and win. Make them fight so you can
win. Man, I will say I don't get too jealous of Quest very often, but they've had a good run recently, man. And I shouldn't be jealous because I have a Quest 3. I can play these games whenever I want to. But you know, I find myself being like, I play so much for review and for making videos and whatever. So like, by the time I take off my PSVR2 headset, I generally don't want to put on another VR headset to play more games. But Quest having a good run with Batman and then Triangle Strategy from Square Enix, and I know PlayStation has a good relationship, or Sony has a good relationship with Square. So I hope that makes its way over. Not that I'm a big fan of strategy RPGs. It just seems like one of those games that you're like, holy shit, Square Enix is bringing one of their flat screen games over to VR. It just feels like something that like this is a big deal. This is a big moment in VR for Square to be supporting it, and I really hope it makes it over to PSVR2 just so we can share in that.
Yeah, there was some writing on the wall with it. I know it was a year or two ago they announced like some big multi-million-dollar initiative that they were going to be investing in, building their own metaverse for their IPs to kind of live in. And what that means is still kind of unclear, but the fact that they were investing in immersive technology like that was a good sign for everyone. And then here they've got this game, which is interesting because it is a modern VR game. It's a mixed reality game. But if you look at it, it's like a PS1, N64 era game to look at it and how it actually looks and plays. I just picked this game up. I haven't played it yet, but I will be playing it. It's probably the next thing on my list that I'm going to get to, and I'm intrigued to see what VR adds to this type of game, if anything. But I don't know. I've heard good things about it. People were talking, saying it's a solid game. So.
Luber, the underground game cat with a €10 says premium PSVR2 catalog is Humanity, which is also on Extra, Saints and Sinners 1 and 2, Walkabout Mini Golf, Synth Riders, Ghostbusters, Before Your Eyes, Kayak, Job and Vacation Sim, Pistol Whip, The Last Clockwinder, and then Synapse next week. Listen, I don't usually advocate for subscription services. I say do whatever the fuck you want. However, if you are buying a PSVR 2 in the next couple months and all of these games are available to you as part of a subscription service, this is an amazing value for these games. It's a great variety of games too, all different genres. There's some hardcore games in there. There's some casual games in there. There's multiplayer. There's single player. There's story-driven games. This is a good variety of games, and I mean, what a great value. Sign up for premium and buy yourself a PSVR 2 headset during Black Friday, and I think you're going to be very, very happy.
It'll keep you busy for a while.
Tatum's in the chat yelling, "Give us Ancient Dungeon multiplayer." Bro, when that happens, you will never see me again, so careful what you wish for. I mean, unless you never want to see me again, which I can understand. Wes, yesterday we got a really cool announcement. Upload VR published an article saying that VRIDER SBK is coming to PlayStation VR2 in 2025. And I hadn't played this before, not until today. Thank you, because you gave me the key for it. But this is, Wes, we've been saying for so long, other than Galaxy Kart and Gran Turismo, we have no racing games in VR. We don't even have like many games when it comes to vehicles that we get to ride around in. Aces of Thunder is coming soon. Flat Out, announced by Flat to VR Studios. Awesome. Can't wait. And of course, EXOCars right around the corner. Then this kind of comes out of nowhere, and it feels like the drought is ending. What do you know about this game, and how excited should we be?
I know quite a bit about this game because, full disclosure, I helped market this game when it launched on Quest earlier this year. So this is a very polished motorcycle racing sim, and the reason why, or one of the reasons why it's very polished, is because unlike a lot of the titles that we get in VR, this is an officially licensed sports title. This is the official title of the whatever the World Super Bike Racing League is called. I'm not a fan, so I can't really recite it. But this is a game that has real riders in it. It has real bikes on real tracks, and there's a lot of tech that they've built into their kind of like system here. That the racing system is very different. This isn't a basic racer where you just hit one button to go and one button to stop. There's a lot at play here. This is a simulation bike racing game, and I haven't played a ton of it. I played a little bit of it, but when we launched on Quest, um, the reception from the reviewer community and the public in general was just, to the moon. Like, everyone loves this game, and yeah, I'm very excited to see how it translates to the platform.
And don't forget that you can hit the left grip to wipe your mask clean. So it's like Metro, right? It's like Metro in VR. I played it today, and so Bitmappy in the chat's wondering what the control method is like, and they give you some options.
It's up to you. Yep.
I will tell you how I played, and then maybe you can describe some of the other options that are available, Wes, because I only played for a limited amount of time, and I to turn you basically pretending like there's a two handles in front of you, right? And so if you want to turn left, you got to do one of these. If you want to turn right, you got to do one of these. And to accelerate, you can have the option to turn the handle or pull the trigger. Now, they even say in the game that turning the handle is more sim-like, more accurate, more realistic. However, I had enough to remember. I had enough to remember in this game, so I opted to use the triggers. And all I'll say is that, A, massive learning curve with the options that I chose. It's even after playing for 20 minutes and just holding your hands out like this. When's the last time you held your hands out like this, even lower, like right, even resting them on a chair, on a desk chair? Your arms are going to get tired, right? Because you're not leaning forward, you're not leaning on actual bike handles, right? So it's a little bit weird. However, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's going to take a lot of practice to get really good at. I don't want to go any further than that because maybe you can give us some more control options, Wes.
Well, I don't. Again, I haven't played it a ton, so I don't. I can't just sit and rattle off all of the different options for with regard to controls. I'm sure that there's some stick controls as well, in addition to the uh, the virtual controls that you opted for. And there's a lot that goes into that too, like if you want to hit top speeds, for example, you have to kind of lean down behind your windshield because you're not as aerodynamic if you're sitting up straight. There's a lot of little things like that. But when I say that it's kind of up to you how you play, I wasn't really just talking about controls. Like there is a lot of customization here that's available to you. And just looking at my notes here, like um, race dynamic ideal trajectory, adjustable traction control, steering sensitivity, gearbox selection, um, horizontal vertical offset for your viewing angle, camera comfort support, camera shake, customizable HUD. I mean, there's just literally a laundry list of things for you to adjust. You can have manual transmission, automatic transmission. Uh, there are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of different options to span from those who are like complete noobs to the ultimate superbike enthusiast, and everywhere in between. And one of the really cool things I remember about the game when I was kind of studying it, months ago, was that whatever you want your options to be, there are tutorials, optional tutorials that you can go through to teach you how to use it and how to set everything up. Again, it's just a very complete simulation, sim racer with a lot of options.
Yeah, I hope with the PSVR2 version they will they will take good use of the adaptive triggers, because if you're using those to accelerate, it would be really great to kind of be like pushing against that and feeling the acceleration a little bit more. Also, I didn't feel any strong haptics in this game unless you were hitting that white and red kind of thing that marks the edge of the racetrack around turns. You know what I'm talking about? It would go if you were racing over that, but the pavement itself had no response, and so I think it'd be really cool to have something like that. Also, and this is just my fucking wish list. I was making it like as I was playing. I think it'd be really cool to have headset haptic feedback when you're not hiding behind the windshield, right? When you're getting the wind in your face, and then when you kind of crouch down to get behind the windshield, all that haptics can go away, right? So
That
know
makes
when
perfect
you're
sense.
right.
Yeah.
It's so which is weird because normally you would think you would want the haptics when you're doing something correctly, but instead, I don't know. It was kind of like a
No, that makes perfect sense. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like that, there's never been a more perfect use of headset haptics than what you just described.
yep. I agree. I finally did something right around here.
Yeah,
But anyway, listen, there's like all sorts of PSVR2 improvements I hope they make. The game already looks pretty good on Quest 3. Like would like it to be more improved. I want it to be more photorealistic, but it was running at a great frame rate, and it looked really sharp in the headset. So the sense of speed felt really good. What you were describing, Wes, is all these tutorials to kind of get you acclimated to the game. That's what I spent most of my time doing today. And so there was a lot of time I was spending on the track, learning how to take turns properly, knowing when to slow down. It was very Gran Turismo like in its tutorials. They kind of be like, oh, here's your next little challenge. Okay, here's your next little challenge. Here's your next little, and it's cool. I was learning where to stop, how to stop, all of that. And so it took a little while to even see other racers on the track. And that's when I started feeling, I was like, this is really cool, because when you're just racing on the track, it's whatever, here I'm just learning how to play this game. But the second you see another full sized, the scaling was great, because it felt like there was another person on a motorcycle right next to me being like, get out of the way, Brian, I'm trying to race here. And it was really good, man. It was really good. I had really good feelings about the sense of speed and the presence of the other racers. It's just gonna take me a while to get good at this thing. So I think if you're unfamiliar with this, if you haven't been paying attention to the VR space outside of PSVR2, I definitely think this is one you should be excited about. Put it on your wish list. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, they are working on updates for the game. By the time it hits the PlayStation platform, it's going to be an improved game from even what from what it is right now. I did have a chance to chat a little bit with the team earlier, and while they didn't really want to commit to anything, and they didn't really talk about PSVR specific features or anything like that, they did mention a few things that they're working on, like updated graphics and some new tracks, things like this, to improve upon what is already a pretty great game.
But Wes, that's not the only racing game I played today. I spent some time, as you guys probably know, EXOCars supposed to be out on PSVR2 this week, but we got news and they got news over at Joyway and Zocus, the developers, kind of last minute about how that's all going down. For anyone who's concerned that the game wasn't going to be ready on PSVR2, well, it did get delayed. But it wasn't delayed because they found bugs or Sony found anything that needs to be fixed in terms of the game being broken. They found some UI problems and probably some generic controllers for the UI when it should have been the Sense controllers. So there's some just kind of Sony nonsense that they need to address.
Common Sony issues, either 90% of the time when things get kicked out of QA, it's either because they have the wrong button prompts, where it's telling people to hit A button instead of X button, or it'll be something with localization where something's weird with one of the other languages that are supported. So it seems like that's what the case is here. Is this pretty much minor things, and they're pretty hopeful that this thing is going to be out. I don't know if they told us we're allowed to really talk about that time frame, but very soon. They're expecting to hit the PlayStation Store very soon.
I don't think there's any embargo on the press release they put out, so I'll take the risk. I'll roll the dice. I think they were saying by the end of next week is the hope, but if something goes wrong, then it could be the end of the month. But they are saying November is what they're shooting for, no matter what. So, man, where do we go with this? Before we talk about the game itself and our impressions of it, I do want to point out one other big thing that people were concerned about, and that was crossplay. It did not seem like we were getting crossplay, but the last we heard from Joyway, they said that they have crossplay up and running. It's not going to be ready for launch, but it is already up and running, so they just got to get that through start as well. And it will be happening on PSVR2 to be crossplay with Quest and Steam, which is great news, right? For any multiplayer game, multiplayer focused game, this is what you want, no matter what platform you're on, as many players as possible. It would be nice if there was a flat screen version of this too, because right, you jump into Phasmo and if you start a room and you don't make it private, somebody will jump into your room within 3 seconds of you starting it, right? So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for with this. So it's shaping up to be everything, a full featured racing game. But Wes, you and I both played this a little bit today. And I just want to get, while I'm switching over to the footage you sent me, I just want to get your impressions of it.
Well, racing in VR is fun. It's fun. Like this, it isn't super feature heavy. Like, it's very much an arcade racer, right? It's putting you on a variety of tracks. And by the way, there is a great variety of tracks. I didn't count them, but it seemed like there was like 20 or 30 tracks in there to choose from. A
Yep.
lot of tracks. There's a career mode. There's or you can go into the multiplayer and do one-offs versus your friends. And if you're doing multiplayer, there's a combat mode that makes it kind of more like a Mario Kart style racer. And that was one of the things I kind of said to you before we stopped playing the day was that, this is more Galaxy Kart than like Wipeout or Gran Turismo. And that's okay because it's fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. It definitely has this arcade feel to it. And also, by the way, if you just saw me on the screen there, that's the last time you're going to see me. I was nowhere near Wes, even though
No,
there
you'll
it is.
see him
He's
one more
following
time.
one
You'll
more
see him one
time.
more time.
Yep. um, uh, it is, but yeah, man, there's so many places I want to go with this. Let's just start with where my head's at right now. Just watched you drive off the cliff. I love I love that the developers of this are like, we want to deliver a full featured racing game. We want you to feel like you're in the cockpit of this buggy racer. Um, and so they put in these little, there's all sorts of elevation changes. There's little jumps in the track. There's ramps that you can drive off of. And in the suspension, because it's a buggy kart racer, the suspension is brutal, man. Like it's
Yeah.
if you're not used to VR, you're gonna be bouncing all around, and like it's just one of these, right? And so, in that feeling translates to the player. I think exactly how it's supposed to. Like I kind of feel like I have the feel of what it's like to drive one of these in real life now, because it's just crazy. And you fall off the cliff, you're gonna flip over a few times. You can drive up on the edge of some of these paths on the track, and you will be racing kind of sideways, and it just feels like how you'd expect it to. So I get, like, right off the bat, like, tons of appreciation for that, because too many of these games try to play it safe and make the player feel really comfortable. But I think the appeal of EXOCars is that they don't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to drive one of these things. Like, they have a lot of horsepower behind them. The acceleration and top speed are there, and the dynamics of this thing are crazy because any little thing can start you, kind of push you off your center line a little bit, and when that happens, you're screwed. You're gonna start fishtailing, and then before you know it, you're running into the wall or running off the cliff or spinning out. Like there was a bunch of times that I just kind of ended up pointed in the opposite direction because I spun out right on the track just trying to take a turn or something. Um, it's very difficult to control these things. If you keep the accelerator down the whole time, which is kind of like the learning process here is when to accelerate, when to stop, which is true of most racing games, I would say, but definitely a different experience trying to drive one of these in VR versus like a car. And you can feel that immediately.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. It's very cool though. I like the options that you have for this game. When it comes to, you can grab on the wheel by using the grips and actually turning with the virtual wheel, or you can sit back and use the analog stick. I did not realize how much better it was to use the analog stick because I want to be as immersed as possible, right? And so I'm doing this, and using the right trigger to accelerate and the left to brake. And then finally, I think it was probably the last lap of this race right here, where I was like, "Oh, this is so much better." Just using my thumb, I felt like I had a little bit more control. But I desperately want to play this with the racing rig because I feel like
Yeah.
that's going to be insanely immersive, um, dude. And you mentioned the track variety, and I want to bring it back to that because it's not just, oh, this this one looks different than that one. Oh, this one has a purple sunset. Oh, this one the sun's rising and it's all yellow. No, it's the uh, the terrain can be radically different, right? What you're seeing here is kind of like cobblestone or like pebbles or something. I don't know what this is made of, but there's one that where you race around the parking garage, right? So it's just like straight up asphalt, and then there's desert ones, and like so you're just racing on sand, and it seems like they all feel different. It seems like they've paid some attention to that. Now I've only played a handful of tracks and only went through each one like one time, so maybe I misinterpreted that and I was still getting used to the controls, but I think that's accurate. Was that your feeling too?
Yeah. Again, I didn't like test it, thoroughly, but it seemed like the different terrain you were on made a difference in the handling. I mean, it was pretty tough to control on all of them, but it definitely seemed like certain tracks were a lot more difficult. Like there was one that I was playing in the single player, with the one with all the shipping containers,
Yep.
and I just could not get the hang of that. Like I probably tried that one 3 times and came in last place every time.
The one with the shipping
Because
containers is interesting. This is so embarrassing. Yep, there I am. It was Wes waiting for me at the finish line. Right, he crossed the line right as he saw me. Yeah. So the one with the shipping containers is all asphalt, and it's kind of all about 90-degree turns, and so you kind of learn to take the turn fast, power slide, and then compensate, and hit the acceleration, so that you are taking 90-degree turns, but by power sliding, by drifting into them, and it just kind of shows you like the versatility of these tracks and the different ways you have to maneuver them. It's all really cool. And real quick before I lose the answer or the question, Corporate Zombie asked, "Are there jumps?" Yes,
yes.
There's big jumps, there's small jumps, there's like, again, little ramps and just all sorts of like little bumps that you hit that will make your suspension go crazy. And I think that is probably so far the biggest appeal of EXOCars, because I just love the way it feels racing in this thing, because the suspension is so much different than Galaxy Kart or Gran Turismo. It gives a different kind of racing experience. I know we're saying a lot of really positive things about this, and I want to make sure that we're not like overhyping it. It is a very basic game,
It's basic. It's basic and it's fun.
Yeah.
It is lacking in like progression. I think that's the only like major thing that this game is lacking, and maybe it's there and I just missed it. But I would like so you earn money and experience points when you race, and from what I could tell, the only thing you could spend that on were cosmetic upgrades. I would like a game where I can upgrade my buggy functionally, upgrade the suspension, upgrade the tires, upgrade the engine, make a better machine to take on more difficult tracks and higher levels of competition. That I did not see. If it's here, then my apologies to the developer for missing it, but I didn't see that anywhere.
No, I didn't see it either. And it's cool. I mean, I like ranking up. I love any kind of progression system, but yeah, just for cosmetics seems a little bit. Joyway's in the chat. They say, "Hey everyone, EXOCars publisher here. What's up, Joyway? Thanks for being here. We're super excited to play your game. Actually, and we didn't even mention we were playing it crossplay, right? Wes, you were on Steam and I was on Quest 3.
That's right.
So we're all super excited about the PSVR2 version, Joyway. But we also talked about why it won't be out tomorrow. So not only do we want to see some progression in this, I think my biggest complaint is that the combat mode, which everyone got really excited about when they debuted the trailer for that just a couple of days ago, it was like, oh my god, this is kind of like Mario Kart. And the answer is, it's kind of like Mario Kart. It's very simple. There's not a ton of weapons. There's not a ton of power ups. It's one of things slows up all the other racers down. One is the opposite. It gives you like nitrous boost and you fly past everyone else. And then there's missiles and a few other mines. So there's not a ton of like weapons, and also it's only in online multiplayer, and it just feels kind of tacked on. I would love the option to switch on the combat mode in the campaign, in tournaments, like in like pretty much every race. I just want to be like, oh yeah, and this switch that little mode over there. We want every race to be able to have combat. But it was fun though.
Yeah, and not only that, when we were doing the combat races in multiplayer mode, the track seemed kind of empty with just Brian and I.
Yeah.
And we thought it would have been a great to be able to add some bots in there so that it isn't just him and I racing, but it would have been cool to have some more competition other than just each other. Again, a very minor thing, because if you're playing, multiplayer, you're probably going to be playing with a group. But still,
Well, and on top of that, I think we max out at 4 people. Right. And so
Right.
these are pretty big tracks. And I feel like maxing out at 4 people, this is the kind of game you want at least 8 people racing in. Right. So that you're not, because with just the 2 of us, I screwed up at the beginning. I never saw Wes again. Like that was it. Right. With a bigger grid, I think there'd be people racing in the back, people racing in the front, all over the place. And then you wouldn't just be alone all the time. And so, I also I'm not familiar with the roadmap. Joyway just posted in the chat what Wes is talking about with the progression. The devs revealed in the roadmap cartooning with power progression is coming in a future update currently scheduled for December 12th.
Well,
So
I literally just pulled it up as you were mentioning it. There's a pretty detailed roadmap now through March with lots of new feature updates that are coming.
Damn. Do you don't have a link to that, do you? So I can bring it up here.
I can drop the image for you, I think.
Yeah, please do. And then I can bring it up on screen here. We can take a closer look at it. That is something I should have prepared for the show. My apologies.
I'm going to give me just a second here, and I will send that right to
you. Since we got Joyway in the chat, we were trying to figure out how much this was going to cost, and I don't think we had an answer to that. So if you could,
that's what I would. That was literally what I was in my email trying to find when I stumbled upon the roadmap. I was looking for the price, and I did not find it. So, yeah, that would be good.
Was the roadmap was in the email? How did I miss that? I'm so inundated with emails.
It was in a different email. It was in a newer one. Anyway, here's the image coming your way.
All right, let me save this image. Boop, 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 boop. Here we go. We're going to bring this up so we can talk about it properly here. $20 at launch. That is the price I was hoping to hear, Joyway.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, because for the number of tracks that are here, for the racing wheel support, I mean, that is exactly what I want to hear. That sounds like an amazing price for this. All right, here we go. This is holy crap, it's gigantic. I got to scale this thing down. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, perfect. All right, so November 28th, 2024, first major tournament and new customization options. December 12th, 2024, tuning system, enhance your buggy performance. Awesome. New customization options. Awesome. December 23rd. New biome with 3 unique tracks, a Christmas event, an achievement system implemented on MetaQuest and Steam. All right, now we get into next year, which always sounds far away, but it's only like 2 months from now, January to February. New multiplayer modes to be announced. New buggy type with different physics and driving experience. That's interesting. And then the next major tournament, then February through March, or around February, March 2025, new customization options and a new biome with 3 unique tracks. So they are killing it with the tracks because they've already got so many, and there are so many more to come. So that's looking like
the tracks are beautiful, by the way. They're beautiful. It's not just that the terrain's different and it affects how you play, but there's really a wide variety of environments, from nature to like completely urbanized and everything in between. So kudos on that. It was one of the highlights of the game for me, were the tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. Between the track variety, the suspension system, it made me bouncing all over the place. Yeah, I had a really good time with this. And again, but the very first thing I'm doing when this game comes to PSVR2 is I'm going to be jumping right into my racing rig and seeing how it feels with that. because that is just going to be that's going to be the just what pushes it over the top for me, I think. What are we missing on this? Did we cover everything?
I think so. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So in summary, it's a lot of fun. Um, it's again a fairly straightforward arcade racer, but it's very different from any of the other racers that we have, not only on PlayStation but in VR in general, because of the fact that it is a buggy racer, and it is and it just feels so different to drive these vehicles versus a super bike or a race car. Um, it's very fast paced. There's definitely a learning curve, um, but it's not super complicated, right? It's still just go stop and then drift pretty much. Um, the combat mode is really cool. Kind of sucks that it's only on the multiplayer side of things and you can't do it in single player right now. But it's fun to play now, and by the looks of the roadmap, it's only going to get better going forward.
A couple things here before we move on to the 4-minute challenge, Wes. First, we got Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat with the Australian $5 tip. Says time for a bike chassis like we have for car games, Gran Turismo 7, Assetto Corsa, etc. It, I guess for SBK, V Racer SBK. Is it? Would you say V Racer or would you say VR Acer? Race, or would you just say Racer?
It's VRIDER SBK.
Fuck. So it's not either. So would it be VR Eider?
VRIDER could be.
Rider?
And the
Man,
publisher is VRAL, Viral, but VRAL Games.
Oh man, did I hopefully I put the right title in the description of this video, or the title of the video. I don't even know. Man, it's been one of those days. But you know what? Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat, dude, while I was playing SBK Rider.
VR Rider.
Yep. I was wishing. Do you remember? Did you ever play Hang On, the Sega arcade game?
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
You actually sat on a motorcycle and
loved it. Yeah.
Yep, that's what we need for this game, big time. So I totally agree. Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat.
I want to say that they were shit. I better shut up. I don't know that ever came out. Never mind. I didn't say that.
But now we're not going to be able to move on, Wes. We're all going to be wondering what the hell you were about to say.
Yeah, I don't know if what I was about to say is public knowledge or not, so I'm just not going to say it.
Okay. And before we have some fun with the 4-minute challenge, quick shout out to Mr. GameCat Canaver, who wrote in the chat, "Hey fellow GameCats, I don't mean to be a downer, but we could use some good support. My 16-year-old daughter was involved in a big bonfire explosion. Her and 7 other teens got very bad second-degree burns." Yo, quick shout out to Mr. GameCat Canaveral. Hopefully everything is okay, and she recovers quickly. Really sorry to hear that happened. It's a weird time to jump into a fun game of 4-minute challenge, but we're gonna do it anyway. No transition required. Let's do this thing. Wes, I have picked out a PSVR1 or PSVR2 game, and you and the cats, with only yes or no questions, but 4 minutes, have to figure out what game it is. Are you ready?
I am as ready as I ever am.
So not ready at all. Actually, I think you do pretty well on this. Let's find out how you do today. On your mark, get Des. Go.
Is this a racing game?
No.
No. Did we talk about it today?
No.
No. Is it a PlayStation VR2 game?
No.
No. Is it on any other platforms besides PSVR1?
Yes.
Is it playable flat?
No.
All right. So we have a classic VR game that's multi-plat. First person?
Yes.
Does it support move controllers?
Yes.
Aim controller?
No.
Dual shock?
No. Let me just double check, but no.
Okay, so
No.
we've got a first-person game with hands, most likely. Full locomotion, then I would assume.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Um, is it a horror game?
No.
Sci-fi?
No.
Fantasy?
No.
No. Those are the only genres I know.
Nothing else exists.
That's right. Okay then. Is it a puzzle game?
There are puzzles in it, but no, I wouldn't consider it a puzzle game.
Is it story driven?
No.
Not story driven. Ooh. First person. Or do you do much shooting in the game?
Not much. There's forms of shooting.
Forms of shooting. Do you is there grappling in the game?
No.
No grappling. It's not a puzzle game. There's some shooting. It's not story driven. Oh, I mean, yeah. Are there zombies in the game?
No.
Is it from a known IP?
No.
No. Is there any melee combat?
Not to my recollection, no.
Are there enemies?
Not really.
Okay. So okay. There's not really enemies in the game to kill. There's some shooting, but not puzzles. That's weird.
Yeah, there's like a few puzzles in there, not a puzzle game.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is this like a carnival game type thing?
No.
No. Is it good?
It's all a matter of perspective. A lot of people say no. I would say I had fun with it.
Well, that's interesting. Or is there magic, like spell casting?
No.
No. Well, we're getting a bunch of no's here, people. Strategy game?
Nope.
Real-time sim?
No.
No. Tower defense?
No.
Is it an educational game?
No.
Did it come out in the first 3 years of PSVR?
No.
So it's a more recent one. Shit. Is it a rhythm
9
game?
seconds. No.
Climbing game?
No. I need a guess. Give me any guess you got.
Is it Beat Blaster?
It is not. In fact, this game came out November 25th, 2021 from developer Chicken Waffle. Tis
Chicken Waffle.
the baby simulator, Baby Hands.
You got me with Baby Hands before, I think.
Only Looper knows.
This has happened before. Looper, am I right about this? I failed on Baby Hands before, I feel like. Yeah, I've never played Baby Hands.
Oh, no. World of Wong plays in the chat says it's Happy Funland, which is crap. Oh, Happy Funland's not crap, especially not on the Pro.
Oh.
Especially not on the Pro.
No, it is not. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I fucking love that game.
Did anybody? I couldn't pay attention to the chat. I was busy. Did anybody guess it? I don't think anybody did.
I mean, Looper said it after I said it, so I don't know if he's just repeating what we said or if he guessed it and then there's a lag in between. But no, it was so. I did so bad with these questions that people weren't even guessing titles. Like, we didn't even ever get to that point. Like, people were just giving me questions to ask.
Prentice Summerscale says, when I Am Cat comes out, it's going to be that every other time. I think I Am Cat got a release date on the PlayStation Store. I think it's like December. I am so excited for I Am Cat, like more than I rightfully should be. Like, I Am Cat looks like a lot of fun, like stupid fun, like Baby Hands fun, like just like, oh, I wonder what I can fuck up in this house.
Yeah, a lot of people like the I Am Cat. It definitely had a little bit of like virality to it there for a little while. People were I know people that built their channels off of that game, just because so many people were tuning in to watch the content from it.
Oh shit! Well, I better fucking stream that game when it comes out because without Parole needs all the help it can get.
I also know people who got like strikes on their channel from doing I am cat content because of it violates community guidelines. I guess for violence, because like you like swipe at the grandma or whatever or something like that. Like that
Come
they
on.
literally it was literally just, I watched the video. There was nothing offensive or even mildly offensive about the video. And yeah, they got a strike for it and appealed it, and it was upheld like through the appeal process. Like they got a legit strike for basically just showing gameplay from a cat sim VR game.
Well, wish me luck because I'm definitely going to be streaming it and playing it on Without Parole. So it might be our first copyright strike. I've gotten thousands of claims, but never a strike. Looper says, nope, I didn't guess it. I typed it as I saw the trailer. And also says, you're wrong, Wes. You did guess it that time. It was June 1st, 2022. So, geez, it's like 2.5 years ago. We've been doing this way too long. So I was hosting that time. You guessed it in 19 questions. And then February 26th, I tested AJ with it, and AJ failed. So we're 1 for 3 with baby hens. So
I remember failing on this. I need to go back and watch it because I don't remember. If I got that, it was somebody totally bailed me out in the chat, and then like somebody in the chat got it. Like I would have never guessed it. Again, I've never played it. My only knowledge of baby hands is from listening to you all talk about it. Like, yeah.
Well, I want to know what questions you asked that got you there, right? Because none of the questions you asked today would have gotten you there. So I don't know what you could have possibly asked. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
don't know, man.
Don't know. All right,
I think the shooting thing probably threw me off. Like that was what really kind of dominated my mindset this time. Was the shooting, that they're shooting in it, but you can't kill anything, and it's not a puzzle game. So how could you be shooting? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think it was like little bows and arrows that you shot at targets. I think is there like a little squirt gun or a ray gun or something? I don't know. There was other shit, but yeah, again, minimal. So, all right, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. We love you so very much. We appreciate everyone who supports the channel financially over on patreon.com/withoutparolegames, and everyone who's a member over here. Everyone who tips during the show, you're all amazing. Thanks to everyone who helps the channel run, like RyPop for getting us up on podcast services of your choice, and Rody and Waleed do the timestamps, and everyone who hangs out in the chat, everyone who tries to keep us entertained while we try to keep you entertained, everyone who sits back and watches the show and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Happy Wednesday, Wes.
Happy Wednesday, Brian. Happy Wednesday, cats. We'll see you real soon.
Let's go. Wait, Looper corrected. Oh, wait, what? You didn't get it last time?
I didn't get it. My memory was correct.
Bro, I'm glad you can trust your memory because I can't trust my memory. Like I forget stuff like constantly. Minutes later, forget about years later.
I remember every failure and dwell on it to the end of time.
I dwell on every failure, every mistake, every bad, but only until the day's over, because my memory is so bad that I wake up the next day totally refreshed and go, well, let's give it another shot. I have no idea what happened yesterday. Sorry, I'm just getting caught up on the chat. Hopefully you guys are having a great night. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna get out of here. Hopefully we'll see you over on Discord. I'm gonna play some Phasmophobia.